you once again to the Leadership Development and Volunteers Onboarding session for Energy Reboot Africa. It's great to see people who are passionate about clean energy sustainability and climate action coming together for a common goal. At HERA, we believe that leadership is not just about holding a title, but about driving real change. So today we're going to be walking through our vision, what we do at HERA, how you can be involved, and the impact we can make together. And this session is going to focus on leadership skills, include effective communication, decision-making, conflict resolution, and all of that. So he's going to join us shortly. But before he joins us, we're going to run through the details about what HERA is all about. And I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I'm going to go straight to what HERA is all about. This is Energy Reboot Africa, where we energize tomorrow sustainably today. So about HERA, Energy Reboot Africa is a pioneering force in driving the global energy transition towards a sustainable future through literacy and advocacy. So we are committed to the United Nations net zero goal, and we are specifically working with two of the United Nations 17 goals, two of them, which are the SDG 7, which is clean energy, and SDG 13, which borders on climate change. Why did we decide on this? We discovered that the larger percentage of the problem of climate is caused by the need and the use of energy. The energy sector contributes over 70% to the climate change. And HERA is raising an awareness, advocating, and offering. We are doing all of that awareness, advocacy, so that we can steer away from carbon emission-based energy towards the realm of clean energy. All this, the use of petrol, diesel, kerosene, coal, most form of energy we have around us today are emitting, carbon to the atmosphere, which is very dangerous to the atmosphere, to the ozone layer. So we need to transition from that energy production and energy use to clean form of energy. And of course, clean form of energy most of them are renewable energies. But we also have another clean form of energy that is not renewable, and that's in form of nuclear energy. I've had a lot of people questioning me about nuclear energy. Oh, hope it is not dangerous, all of those things. Well, maybe in our subsequent webinars, we're going to be talking more on nuclear energy, how nuclear energy can drive the transitioning into clean energy, how it can be of good benefit. So, but for today, we are looking at transitioning clean source of energy that are clean. We have the solar, we have the wind and turbine, we have other forms of energy that does not emit CO2 into the atmosphere. They call them greenhouse gases. So I don't want to go much into that details, but in our subsequent webinars, we're going to be educating people what these greenhouse gases are, how can they begin to reduce their greenhouse gases emission, and all of those things through the use of energy. Okay. So at the heart of our mission is the belief that nuclear energy stands as a viable and potent solution to achieve the ambitious goals set by United Nations. Why do we believe this, that nuclear energy stands as a potent solution? Is because, I don't know, practically, have you seen industries that uses heavy duty machines being powered with solar and inverter system? It's very rare if it's possible. And even if it's been done, can you just imagine the number of solar panels and batteries that will have to be installed to get it done? So we believe that production of energy in a large quantity is very needed. And there's a research that says that about 20,000 tons of coal The energy that 20,000 tons of coal, if you do your conversion, 20,000 tons of a coal is an enormous amount of, kilogram. It's an enormous amount. That the same energy it will take 20,000 tons of a coal to produce. It's going to take 1 gram of uranium to produce the same thing. And uranium is one of the vital components they use in nuclear reactors, in nuclear energy production. So, well, I'm not going much into that. I'm just saying that we believe that either nuclear fission or nuclear fusion, is a very great way forward. It's a very great way forward in energy transition into the realm of clean energy. So we are dedicated to fostering a comprehensive understanding of the benefits and challenges associated with nuclear energy, ensuring informed decision-making for sustainable tomorrow. So moving forward, we have ongoing project. Before I continue, I'm going to say that we have ongoing projects in ERA, including we have Go Green campaign, which is going to be visits to schools to educate secondary school students about climate change and how they can begin to take personal responsibility. We have all of those, and we have online webinars, which is basically for education of the public about how they can go about this, what is happening to the world, how can we begin to collaborate to prevent the impending doom if we don't take responsibility. So what sets ERA apart? We have advocacy, we champion policies supporting this transition, awareness campaign. We have campaigns that is going to involve plastic gathering drive, where we pick recyclable plastics and we return them back to companies where they can be reused. They are part of sustainable lifestyle every citizen must imbibe. We have education initiative like the webinar we are doing. So our webinar now we started with monthly webinar, but now we are doing bi-monthly webinar because of our physical outreaches. Most of the things we do are based on research. We are not just coming here to tell you what has not been proven by research. So we call on you to be part of ERA. So what is ERA mission statement? Empowering a sustainable vision statement. We envision a world, actually in short, we envision a world where clean energy is the norm, driving climate resilience and global progress toward net zero. That is our vision statement in a summary. A future where the norms, the form of energy that's being used will be clean energy throughout. In advanced countries, they're already doing a lot in this regard, using electric vehicles, stopping some practices that are adding to the problem of the climate and all of that. So what is our mission? What our mission at ERA? Our mission is to lead the charge in this energy transition by advocating for policies that support clean energy, raising awareness about its significance, educating individuals, communities, institutions, conducting groundbreaking research, and of course, we can provide, expert insights to organizations and governments. Our values in this point: sustainability, innovation, integrity, collaboration, educational empowerment, global citizenship, and resilience. So those are the 8 values that defines us at ERA. These core values guide every facet of our organization, shaping our action and decision as we work towards a sustainable, clean energy future. Every hands must be on deck. Everybody must be involved in this. So without further ado, we're going to be moving on to the next thing on our agenda. What we are basically doing is that this is the first part of it. The second part of it, which is the last part, is the leadership training by an expert in the industry. I'm excited to welcome Mr. Abimbola Olujide, a distinguished leader with proven track record in driving strategic initiatives, managing complex projects, and fostering functional collaboration. With an extensive background in government affairs, analytical chemistry, and quality management, Mr. Olujide is a visionary professional dedicated to making impactful contributions across diverse sectors. With a Master of Business Administration from Lagos Business School and a Master of Science from the University of Ibadan, he blends academic excellence with real-world experience. He's also a certified Scrum Master embodying the principle of agility and innovation in all his endeavors. So we are privileged to have Mr. Abimbola Olujide as one of our esteemed speakers tonight. His word of knowledge, leadership acumen, and unwavering passion for excellence will undoubtedly inspire and empower you even as you listen to him in this session. So without taking much of our time further, I would love to, can you please welcome with me Mr. Abimbola Olujide. You are welcome, sir. Thank you. We are privileged to have you, sir. Thank you for coming, sir. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, Joshua. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy to be part of this get-together this evening. I would seek your indulgence. I actually decided to meet up with you via my iPad. So as soon as my iPad is able to connect, I will switch off this phone link and then we continue our discussion. So please, if there's anybody who's like a gate man, and don't be surprised if you see me logging in as another person with the same name, kindly just let me come in. So I'm trying to log in through the iPad now. So while that happens, I want to really express appreciation for the opportunity that I'm given to come and share a few of my understanding with you today about the crucial topic of leadership and leadership skills, particularly the skill aspect of leadership and team management. I am saying that one with very significant advice, and that is that without a good leader, you can never have, without being a good leader, you can never be a good follower. And that is sacrosanct, is not debatable. The best leaders that the world has are in themselves followers in one way or the other. So, because if you don't learn to follow, you can never learn to be leaders. And in my management and leadership development, the paradigm that was taught to me has it that if you see a thing, you own it. So whatever you cannot take ownership of, you can't really claim leadership over. So that is the kind of mindset that formed me and that I have been grown through and with. So I'd like to then use this opportunity to talk to all of us, to always cultivate the understanding that being a leader does not mean that by any means you are superior to the people you are leading. Leadership is a role. And those of you who know me very well on a personal level would know that I've always emphasized that when you have a team and the team has a leader, the understanding or the assumption is that the leader is just serving a role. The leader, for instance, I do tell people, for those of us who have consciousness of reward in the afterlife, that if a leader is going to be graded by 100 per 100 or percent, as the case may be, then one way or the other, you must understand that the cleaner as well is going to be graded per 100. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you very clearly.
Okay, so this is significantly better. So this is how I would like to actually do the middle. So percent is percent. Thank you very much, Omawumi. So percent is percent. If a leader is going to score, if they say, okay, this assignment that you are up to, all of you will be rated percent. A leader could score 54% and a cleaner or the person that is considered the lowest in the group would score like 86 or 92%. So you must understand that leadership is a role. It is not an opportunity that we want to take to lord it over those people that we are leading. Then please, I'd like for you to take note of those two key things that I mentioned. And I will repeat them very quickly. Without having a preparation of mind to be a good follower, you can never be a good leader. And The best leaders are their best followers. Number two, leadership is a role. Nothing makes you superior to the people you are leading. You are just fulfilling a role while everybody in the group is also fulfilling their own role. So the way human society is structured is such that the leader is heard of most. Okay, it's just like in a football team, the scorer is often seen as the one that is doing almost all of the job. Meanwhile, the chief defender, the goalkeeper is there, and a whole lot of other defenders, midfielders, and all that are there. Who may not be seen to be doing much. But that shouldn't deter you. Fulfill your role, and we trust that one way or the other, you are going to get your reward. That's if you're working for reward. So today we are going to be speaking to leadership skills and team management. And I'd like to congratulate Era, Joshua, and the team specifically for the courage that you guys have to confront the issue of energy, of sustainability, and of having a future that is not only sustainable, but it's also clean energy-wise. So this is a very beautiful and wonderful endeavor that nobody would take for granted. So let's now go and dive headfirst into the discussion. Can you roll please to the next slide? Okay, so what is leadership? It's the ability to inspire, to guide, and influence others towards a common goal. You can see that there are 4 keywords in that definition. The last keyword is the first and most important of them all, and that is having a common goal. Everybody that is in a team require to have a common goal. If the goal is divided, then that cannot be a team any longer. I remember in 1990, when we played nation in Algeria, I was a student in the University of Ibadan then, and that was about the last time I actually got very deeply involved in football and football fanaticism. Our team had been doing well. Then something happened in the camp, and by the time they were going to play the final match, just like it happened during the World Cup, the first World Cup that we attended that year, the team got into 2. So we had 2 Nigerian teams on the field facing, I guess, one Algeria or Cameroonian team. Needless to say, we lost that match by a goal. When the team is divided, when the goal is not common, when we have divided divergent goals, then we can't call that a team any longer. And so leadership can't function in a situation like that. If leadership will function, the first and the most important assignment or objective that they will pursue is how to harmonize the goals. Now, get me wrong, having a common goal does not preclude having different ideas about how to arrive at that goal. And the purpose of leadership is to make sure that the ideas are not only harmonized, they are also honed, they are sharpened to ensure synergy. So once there is synergy among divergent ideas, you can now go for the common goal. So if the strategy of reaching the common goal is also divergent and irreconcilable, then the goal cannot be the same any longer. There will be breaking, there will be division, there will be fracture, and so leadership may not function. Now, so that a common goal is the most important objective of a team. Then the leader now has the responsibility for 3 things. The first is that he has the ability to inspire. Inspiration is about that thing that is in you, which when you stand before team members, you pass across to them a certain energy that will push them from within to want to go with you on the journey that you are going. When they hear you talk, they have renewed energy. If there's any one of them that is weak or that is frail or that is thinking like, oh, you may not be able to go with you, when they see you and whatever it is in you touches certain things in them and gives them that is inspiration. Now, when people are going on a journey, individuals have different kinds of energy. You could see somebody running at 100 meters per second. Another one is doing 5 meters per second. Now, the problem with people running at different speed is that life journey aren't always rectilinear. So when somebody is projecting himself forward at a very high speed, when he gets to a curve, he goes off into a tangent. I hope I'm not speaking above the head of people here. Please, if you understand what I'm talking about, can you just let me know? Just thumbs up if you think I'm okay. And I don't know whether there is thumb down for you to let me know if I'm going off the curve. Now, if there's a curve and somebody is over speeding, you know what happens when somebody overspeeds and enter a curve while driving? He will go off the road and then run into a ditch or into the bush. One boy did this something very close to my house the other day. I just saw him a few minutes after I passed through one place, and the boy had driven himself into a ditch, and he sustained a very bad cut to his mouth. Now, so the leader has a responsibility also, and he has to have the ability to guide. To guide means that if there is a time for us to go straight, you go straight. If there's a time for us to negotiate a bend, we negotiate the bend. The leader guides, the leader helps, the leader gives the people a sense of purpose and a sense of direction. So creating that sense of direction is what is called guidance. And then the leader influences others towards a common goal. He influences others. What does it mean to influence somebody? Influencing somebody is like selling an idea and an ideal that is in your mind to that person, so that the person will be able to accept and adopt your own idea and your ideal, and he wants to go with it. Let me give you a very simple example. Many of us may have heard our parents and leaders saying that when you show me your friend, I will tell you who you are. And what the Holy Book says that, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. He said that evil communication corrupts good manners. What it means is that if you sit down where they are saying foul things, before long you begin to say foul things if you don't put a gate man under your mind. Yesterday I was in the mechanic workshop, and some boys just kept cursing themselves. And I questioned, I said, stop cursing yourself. Even the people that are praying for nowadays, prayers are not fulfilling what we desire for them to fulfill quickly. Yeah, you are cursing yourself. And I discovered that virtually all the young people in that mechanic workshop curse themselves. You won't believe that a few minutes after I said that, no, not a few minutes, about less than 40 seconds after I said that, those boys started chasing themselves, and one of them rammed himself into my car and created a very bad dent in the car. That's somebody that they just cursed. Now, if I was the type that could make trouble, that boy would be in soup yesterday. So that is what influence does. And it wasn't surprising for me that later on, the head of the mechanic workshop came and said that I'm going to curse somebody here now. You want me to curse you? Influence. So the leader has that capacity to influence people. So we move on. Effective leaders foster teamwork. They set clear objectives and they drive change. If you remain on the same spot, doing the same thing in the same way for the same objective till forever, you cannot be a leader. It means that there is no change. So driving change should be an objective of leadership. In ERA, you guys have an objective, and that objective is to achieve a sustainable energy future. Okay? We want to build resilience into our energy portfolio, into our energy scenario. That's an objective. Okay, so if we stay where we are and we don't change, we cannot be there. So we have to set clear objectives. Clear there is the definition of the understanding that every teamwork has of our objective. If they wake every team member in the night, can it define clearly what we are here, what we are set up for? And a leader fosters teamwork. Now, though before I started out in this discourse, I actually decided that I wasn't going to be tempted to begin to emphasize the difference between a group and a team. The matured state of a group is what you call a team. A group is just an assemblage of people with divergent opinion, divergent goals, divergent strategies. Nothing about them is united other than the fact that they identify themselves as human beings. But when leadership comes up, it forms them together through 3 stages. We are going to, maybe there will be opportunity for us to discuss that one in the future. There's a stage that they call the forming, there is stormy, then there is normie. There's a stage where the group comes together and they form themselves into a group. Era has passed that stage. Then there's a stage they call the stage of stormy, where the group, everybody will begin to fight themselves and say, oh, no. This is not the right thing. This is the better way to do it. No, you are wrong. This is the right way to do it. Oh, no, it's not like that. That's a stage of stormy. Then eventually everybody will now come and understand themselves and normalize, adopt a common goal, and begin to now work to harmonize their strategies. That's the norming stage. That's a discussion for another day. Now, so the objective of effective leader is to foster teamwork. Teamwork assumes that every member of a team comes with different talents, different gifts, different capacities. And the leader is there to exemplify, to look at the different capacity that each member has, then place them in the place where, in the location where they can best deliver, contribute their capacity to building the team. So leadership in the energy sector is crucial for sustainability and innovation. One of the reasons that made me to accept to speak to you guys today is that if there is anywhere that we need leadership in Africa, it is in our energy sector. Just yesterday in my estate group here, the chairman of our electricity committee posted an apology that was released by PHCN, IBEDC they call them. And in that apology, they were saying that, they are sorry that they couldn't supply electricity for about 48 hours. And I said, come on, you call us band A consumers, and you bill us about 22 naira or so per kilowatt hour. You are now apologizing for breaching a contract. If you breach the contract, then pay for breaching the contract. We didn't ask you for band A now. You forced us into band A. You didn't even ask for our negotiation or our preference. You just carried us and forced us into that place. And you began to bill us. You now came and you start apologizing. No, that's not the right thing to do. When you breach a contract, you pay for that breach of contract. Then you apologize for disrupting our expectation. So you see, what you guys are doing, you may not realize the importance of it. This is one of the most crucial needs. If you remove energy in all forms from human challenges, there's hardly anything that is left. Energy is the most crucial aspect of challenges. The thing they call food is energy by another name. Anyway, discussion for another day. Let's roll to the next slide, please. Next slide, please, Joshua. So why do leadership matters in NGOs? So when I was putting together my preparation, I extended this question a little bit backwards. That why do NGOs even matter? Why do NGOs matter? If the government was able to fulfill all our expectations, social, communal expectation, would there be any need for NGOs? Please, can I have answers from you guys?
Not at all.
There would not be any need for NGOs. There wouldn't be any need for NGOs. So the NGOs are necessitated because the government has demonstrated over the years that they do not have the capacity to meet all the needs that we have as a social and communal beings. And that gap is what NGOs are filling. Excellent gap. So leadership matters in that instance. There was a time I was the class president of my Lagos Business School class. And I was the president for 4 years, for the 4 years we were in the school for our MBA. So I had 2 challenges. The first challenge is that almost everybody in that group is a big man in their respective offices because it's a special class put together for high-end executives. Before they could admit back then in 1917 rather. Oh no, sorry, 2017. before they could admit anybody into the group, you have to have graduated from the university for at least 7 years. You have to have a minimum of, I think, 250 million naira turnover in the company where you work. Then you have to have been a leader for about how many years? About maybe a good part of that 7 years minimum. But if what you have is only that 7 years, the expectation is going to maybe how many million or billion that you have to show that you have turnover. But for people who have been working for about 15, 20 years, maybe 250 million naira turnover. So it's a class of very big people. In that class, we have bank managing directors. And then we have somebody who was the human resources director of one of the top 4 professional services company. I mean, things like Deloitte, like PW, PricewaterhouseCoopers, like Ernst and Young, like you know what I'm talking about. So she headed that function in West Africa, heading that function, heading the HR function in the whole of West Africa. We have the head of the IT in Central Bank. We have the head of strategy in LNNG. We have 2 directors of professional services. We had the head of IT in one of the oil companies in Nigeria. Head of this, head of that, big people. My wahala number 1. How do you lead a group of big people and you form a team out of them? Number 2 problem, we did not have a constitution. So at any time we needed to have a decision made, we had to be guided by our minds and by our intelligence only. There was no constitution to work with. Yet I had to lead these people effectively. It's one of the most challenging periods of my time, but God helped us so much. We led so beautifully that in the end, we came up with so many awards. So if we were not able to provide leadership, it wouldn't have been possible. And I remember part of that situation, part of our studentship required for us to travel out of the country for about a month to go and work in one university. So we had opportunities of going to either USA, go to Singapore, go to Harvard, go to a university in the University of Arizona, go to Singapore, or go to ISA Business School in Spain. And so we decided we were going to ISA Business School. That's the best business school in the world, in Barcelona, Spain. We won't go to Harvard because you can always enter Harvard any day. So when it was time for us to go, some people were not able to raise the money, but the money to pay for the trip was so much. Somebody just came to us in the group, to me, and said, "Leader, come." And the person handed over to me several millions of naira. He said, "Go and convert this money to dollar and pay for everybody. All of us are going to Spain together." And since the Lagos Business School was founded, for the first time in history, everybody in that class traveled. 2 people put money down. They said, all of us must go. That's what leadership can work. So the first reason why leadership matters is that leadership will drive organizational vision and mission. Once you're able to create your vision, to identify your vision, your mission, and create your vision, leadership must drive the achievement of that. Next, leadership is there to ensure effective team collaboration. I spoke earlier on that every road in the world, there's no road that is completely straight. If it's completely straight, it will end somewhere. I remember there's this road in Paris. I've forgotten. I will remember the road in Paris. It's one of the biggest, the most popular business centers in the world, where the Arc de Triomphe is. So that road is so straight. It's like a straight, where you stand like this. Sorry, I thought I had somebody saying something. So that road is so straight, but straight as it is, it ends somewhere. That's where I'm actually going. So if nobody is there to ensure effective team collaboration, there's no way that you will drive on that road and you are not going to crash against a very big museum at the end of it. That's the Louvre in Paris. So a leader matters because leadership is required to motivate volunteers and members. Motivation is always required because all of us are not going to be to operate at the same energy level at all times. So a time will come when somebody will be at the high energy state and another person will be at the low energy state. So you just say, oh, we are going to lock our elbow together. He's a leader that motivates people. He's the one that has the responsibility to actually to encourage people to be persistent and to be resilient and to focus on the vision. So last, leadership is there to build resilience and to develop problem-solving capabilities. There will always be problem. That's, I think, one of the slides we're going to discuss very soon has to do with problem-solving capability. Could you just let roll, please? Next slide. So these are 7 skills that the street I was talking about in Paris, Champ de Élysée, is the longest business street in the world. Every fashion house, that's what's their name, as an outlet on that street. So what are the key skills that are required of a leader? There are 7 of them that we're going to touch on very quickly: communication, decision making, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, visionary thinking, adaptability, and team motivation. Please roll. So our time is fast spent. So, what are the components of effective communication? If you can't communicate, you can't lead. Because setting clear agenda and making people to understand what to do, how to do them, when to do them, and if need be, why we should do them is important. In the mind of every team member are those questions. What are we doing next, leader? How are we going to do what we want to do? When do you expect us to do it? And by the way, why are we doing it? So the question of what, how, when, and why are critical questions that require effective communication. Every time, those questions always come up. And you could see the question of what are typically things that almost everybody knows. The question of how is what strategy speaks to. What method do we want to use to achieve this objective? The question of when is what leadership will have to spell out, because there has to be an alignment between what is done and the objectives of the team. And the question of why is what usually causes problem. Why are you talking to me like that? Why are you doing what you are doing just now? Why do you think that's the next thing for us to do? Why this, why that? The leadership, it is the responsibility of the leader to be able to communicate that actively. And how do you do the effective communication? Number one, a leader must be very ready, must be engaged in what is called active listening and clarity. As a leader, you are not listening to people because you want to develop your points to counter them or to know how best to argue so that you can defeat their position. Active listening is that imperative that a leader goes into in order for him or her to understand what other people are saying. First of all, understand what they are saying before you start fighting. A leader is not there to be able to advance arguments that will stifle all the members' opinion and then will make his or her own opinion to become the prime opinion. And so we go by what I think only. No. As a leader, in any case, your opinion may not even be the prime opinion. My general manager gave us an assignment recently, and then we went and did the assignment. And then when he wrote the email to us, he now wrote something there very boldly. He said that I will be a member. So and so person will be the team lead. And we were like, wow. So yesterday when we presented our findings to him, he said, I've told you guys, I am a member. So send me all the things that you have done. Let me also read it so that I can be a part of it. That is some leadership for you. A leader also must understand, in order for him to be able to communicate effectively, he must understand, okay, so this time is counting down. Joshua. Okay.
Yes, sir. It is counting down. Oh, can you see it, sir? 7
I can
minutes.
see, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so he has to be able to engage in open and transparent dialogue. Nothing is hiding. When you as a leader are trying to hide anything from your team member anyway, they know you are hiding, so you are just deceiving yourself. You must tailor messages to the audience. Shouldn't speak over their head. Shouldn't speak to them as if they are too dumb. No. The message must be tailored to the audience, and different members of the group sometimes require different ways to address them. So a leader is also expected to encourage feedback and collaboration. Let people not be afraid of you. Let people not be afraid of talking to you. Please, let's go to the next slide quickly. A leader is also that person that has the responsibility for decision making. And how do you make a decision as a good leader? The first thing is to use logic and data-driven insights. Logic works. Making decisions that are illogical or counterintuitive will require plenty of explanation. Because if a decision is made and it's just arbitrary, okay, why are we going to Ife? Why are we not going to Oyo? And because I don't like people that don't like Ife, and Ife is good. But why did you say that and you're not able to explain? Just arbitrary, you just make decision and just make a statement that will make people to begin to wonder that does this guy even know what he's doing at all? So there has to be a very plain, transparent logic. Times are there when your decision may be based on intuition, not logical. But even if it is intuitive, you should be clear and transparent, just like we mentioned in the communication. Decision making would require balancing risk and reward. Most good things that are done in the world have some element of risk in it. Now, there are different kinds of risks that people can take. Some risks are not worth taking because the reward of it are stupid. For instance, you want to go, they say they are shooting gun in that place, and because you want to be seen as a good leader in society, in the community, you don't have any weapon, and you don't have any armor. You don't have any body armor. You are just walking there. You want to go and do macho. You want to go and do votro. That risk is too much. So the leader has the responsibility of balancing the risk with the reward before making his decisions. A leader also, while making decisions, should encourage participation. Everybody's voice matters. Let people talk. Let people say what they think first. And if what they think is not going to be adopted, then everybody must know why they are not adopted. People should just not be shut down. Shut up. But let me talk. I'm your leader. I'm the leader in this group. If you're not going to let me shut up, I will resign. No. Is a poor leader who say things like that. Then a leader must learn from past decisions so that you are able to carry your team along. Next slide, please. Conflict resolution. Why does conflict resolution matter? Because as human beings, we are going to continue to have conflicts. And when people conflict, a leader should understand the need to identify the root cause. Stop fighting the symptoms. Address the root cause. When you address the root cause, it's out the benefit of meeting the expectation of both or all of the conflicting parties. Then it will also have the benefit of addressing future conflicts. Once you understand what the root cause is, you're able to speak to it and address it. It's going to equip you to be able to know how to handle future conflict. Then, conflict resolution strategies also promotion of active listening is also one of the key conflict resolution strategies. Like I mentioned the other time when I was talking about communication, you listen to understand the position of individual. You are not listening to be able to get points. that you can use to argue to defeat their position. No, but you want to understand where they are really coming from. Also, encouraging compromise and collaboration is a very strong strategy. Let everybody understand that, yes, once there is conflict, you must be prepared to yield some ground in order for us to forge ahead. We cannot say that you are not going to yield ground, then it is either your way or the highway. No. That's not about good leadership. Remember, I said the other time that if you're not ready to be a good follower, you cannot be a good leader. So if when you as a follower has conflict with other people, be prepared to yield ground a little and then collaborate. Then clear conflict resolution mechanism, it must be established in every team. And that should be a baby of the leader. The leader is a custodian and the carer for a conflict resolution mechanism. And everybody must know how you go by it. No secrets, no underhand dealings, no intransparent or opaque dealings. Next slide, please. At this rate, I will need about 5 more minutes over the time set. Then,
yes, sir.
Effective team management is the next thing that we want to deal with. And you could see how these things are actually intertwined. You could see clear goal setting and expectation setting in that place. Many of the times, conflict arises when people have their expectations not met. Once expectations are not met, there will be wahala, because you see, people must have very well. Please, can somebody let us mute our microphones so that we don't distract the group? Thank you. So, a goal must be clearly set for expectations to be met. Okay? Then, roles should be assigned based on strengths when you are managing and leading a team. You cannot be, you see, this world is ruled by champions in their respective fields. If you look at a typical relay team, some people are good starters, while some other people are good finishers. Typically, when they have a good starter and they put him as a finisher, the starter is the one that is able to bend down and jump at the time the gun is shot. A good finisher takes the baton on his feet in a relay team, in a relay race. So you cannot make a defender to play number 10. Otherwise, you will just be wasting your chances. Somebody who cannot dribble accurately, somebody whose best way of playing is by using his hand to handle football, should be a goalkeeper, not your striker, not your winger. Okay, so roles should be based on individual strength. And another benefit of that is that when people are able to use their strength to contribute optimally to the team, it gives them a sense of purpose and sense of better fulfillment. And then when managing a team, you must strive as a leader to build trust and inclusivity. Let everybody know that when they work, it's not as if when they bring their result to you, you are going to throw it away. No. Encourage individuals to put in their best and let their best matter. Let everybody take ownership of the outcome so that there can be inclusivity. When people feel included, they are better able to perform. Then encourage continuous learning and feedback. If you accept feedback very friendly, then people will also accept your own feedback very friendly. If people give feedback to you and you refuse to accept it, you now want to begin to correct them or give them feedback. You are going to be an headmaster, not a leader. And that is not going to be a very good thing to do. Good, yeah, roll to the next one. So a leader also has the responsibility to motivate and engage his team. And how does it do that? It does that by recognizing and rewarding contribution. You don't act as if you are not seeing the good that people are doing. Even if it is just to say, Yinka, you have done excellently well. Get to where they are. That word alone may be the only thing that somebody needs. Oh, I noticed that what you did is beautiful. I think I would just want you to know that we'll recognize you for making this very fantastic contribution. That may be it. So recognition and reward, R&R, is prime, is superb. Even if it is to buy somebody a gift of a pencil, and for groups that have the capacity to do it, buy them a plaque and sign it as a leader or a certificate and say, you have done very well. This is a certificate in recognition of what you have done. It fire people up much more than you can imagine. Then there should be opportunity for growth. When somebody has done something good, then give them higher responsibilities. Let them continue to improve and enlarge and get better at what they do. Then be the one that will inspire, encourage, recognize, and reward them. Next, there should be a sense of purpose and belonging. If there's an objective and you are beginning to share roles, let every member of the team know what their roles are so that they know that this is what I want to achieve. Creating that sense of purpose is indispensable for building and for growing or for cultivating a good team. Then leading by example motivates people. If you say, let us meet by so and so o'clock, be there by so and so o'clock. If you say we are going to climb to the top of that mountain, don't be the one that will say you are tired when you get to the middle. And you say, others you can do it to me. This is how far I can go. No. Lead from the front as a leader, lead by example. Next slide, please. So, what does leadership in the energy sector require? We must understand that leadership in the energy sector, there's a reason the energy sector is critical. Of all the sector that is in the world, I told you that the thing they call food is also energy, it's human energy by another name. Is that not so? Now, if you look at the energy sector, it's one sector that very big business interests competing in it. And those business interests typically conflict with the objective of a typical energy sector NGO like yours. So there has to be an inspiration to drive sustainable solutions. We must encourage innovation and research. Everybody must know that we need to do things differently for us to achieve different results. Then we must understand our stakeholder. Stakeholder management is another department that is bigger than just what we can just glip over. We must understand what our stakeholders are and know how to collaborate with them, understand their pain points, know exactly what they want. I will tell you a story of Kwame very soon, and you will understand what I mean by that. Then we must be able to address climate change challenges. Every opportunity to exploit energy conflict with climate change, with climate, and it's really impacting our environment so much. So the leadership in the energy sector has an objective. A universal objective is that of addressing climate change challenges. Next slide, please. So there's this young man called Kwame in Ghana. So he started an NGO called the Solar Youth Initiative, and they had an objective to distribute solar lights, to rural areas that are not fed by the national grid. And a whole lot of young people joined him. And this is a true life story. They joined him, and everybody was trying to do their best to achieve. But when the group grew to a certain size, it became very difficult for Kwame to achieve his objective. It's actually a long story. Perhaps I will share with Joshua so that he may share with everybody that is attending this meeting. Okay, so eventually, things were falling apart. And so there was a very good lady in the group called Amina. Amina now went to Kwame and said, look, Kwame, we need a leader in this group. We have an objective that's a purpose. Let us sharpen our purpose, sharpen our objective, then provide leadership. And so Kwame thought very deep about it, appointed Amina as the director of operation, and then set up a structure and organization. And while they started operating as an organization, they were better able to identify their stakeholders, define stakeholder needs, formulate their strategies of arriving at the stakeholder need. And before you knew what was happening, they had distributed about 10,000 solar lights to people that were living off the grid. So team management can contribute to project success in manners and measures that are beyond what can be readily thought of. So, and discussing openly and sharing experience can actually help. If you see something, say something. Don't just sit down there and assume that somebody does not want to hear you. No, a team always has their ear, to listen to you. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, leadership is essential for effective team management. Without leadership, we can't even call it a team at all. Then strong leaders know that they have the duty to inspire, to motivate, and to drive change. If things remain the way they have always been, then the team is not necessary. But if a team wants to be necessary, then definitely they must know that they will have to drive a change, and that driving will be championed by the leader. Continuous learning and adaptability are key. No road in the world is completely straight. There will be curves, there will be bends, there will be ups, and there will be downs. And different kind of strategy will be required to navigate at each of those curves and bends, ups and downs. So the energy you need to go uphill and the one you need to go downhill are not exactly the same. Determining which energy you need at any time is the responsibility of the leader. Thank you very much. I think we have gotten to the end of our discussion. So I now welcome questions and contributions. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for that very insightful session. I think this has to be one of the most insightful sessions I've attended this year. I know it's just January, but I've attended quite a number of meetings this year, and this one stood out. What stood out for me was the practical insights that were given, and I think personally I'm in a stage where I need to learn a lot about leadership, and so this was a very timely one. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. All right. So now we are in the question and answer session. So, sorry, am I audible?
Roger.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We're in question and answer section now. So if you have a question, could you please raise up your hand so that you can be asked to speak? And if you can't speak, you can type your question in the chat box. So we have just about 5 to 10 minutes for questions. So if you have questions, you could please raise up your hand.
Can we have individuals type out their question in the chat room so that we can read them, combine them, and then maybe we just spend 1 minute to have individuals type out their questions.
Yes, sir. If you have a question, you could type in the chat box. All right. So while we are waiting for others to ask questions, I have a question, sir. So my question is, you already talked about how to manage conflict in a team as a leader. So, I think it applies to my question, but I just want to ask if you have some specific insights concerning this issue. If you are in a team and the members of the team are not responding as you would like, and maybe you have a lot of deadlines and you have things to do on that as a team, but then you are trying to reach out to them maybe on WhatsApp or even through maybe calls or email, and they're not responding. How do you adequately manage that? That's the question I have, because I'm a member of a team where even I myself fall victim of that, and I'm now also leading another team where that's also the issue I'm experiencing with people that I am leading. So I just want to ask if you have some insights on how that can be managed so that everybody participates as they ought to. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let me quickly answer that question so that it may even answer some other questions that I would have. When you are when you are asking people to do certain things and they are not listening to you, that means there's a problem with your communication. And one of the things that I have learned in life is actually the humility to accept that, yes, I can be inadequate too. The humility to accept that you can be inadequate too is there. And when you are going to get your feedback, the leadership feedback are usually very hard because many times, if not most of the times, feedback for leadership come in form of attitudes than verbal confrontation. When people respect you and know that you are their leader, they may not want to confront you verbally, but they may put up attitudes. Is there any question? Everybody keeps quiet. Contribution, nobody talks. When you finish, they just shake your hands and they go to their car straight and drive away. That is suggesting certain things. But in order for us to inject life into any group, one of the things that we do to encourage active listening and active feedback is by communicating clearly. And in your shoe, one of the things I would do really is by creating a very active question and answer time. No matter the deadline you have or how present the situation is, so far it is not, it doesn't have to deal with life. It's not as if somebody is going to die or somebody will lose their health. Then sit down, address problems first before going on. Because in this life, I've had it over and over again, and I still read it off one of the motivations I see on Twitter this morning, that purpose is better than speed. You cannot be speeding like that. You know, in those days, we used to have an advertisement, I think it's for either Michelin or Dunlop, and they said speed is nothing without control. You are rushing to deliver on the deadline, and the purpose, the team is not together. What deadline is that? So if it is possible, you want to actually stand back and address it. Am I really communicating? Are these people motivated? Are they engaged? One other thing that I would just suggest to you to consider in the future is about leadership engagement. If people do not stay engaged, then everybody will just not be, people won't be motivated. When people are not motivated, you are not touching their nerves. But a motivated team, they are the one that will even be pushing you as a leader. And that's where you now begin to work more on your brake to control people. I mentioned earlier on an example of a team member going at 100 meters per hour, while the other team members are there doing their 5 meters per second confidently. So the 100 meters per second guy is already zooming ahead. That's where you now begin to say, okay. This is energy. Bring me a little of it. Let us put it in this person who's doing 5 meters per second. You understand it now? So in your shoe, I will stand back and look at it. Are these people motivated well? Are they properly engaged? Am I communicating to them? Do they even have the vision that I have? If as a leader, you're not able to plant your vision deep in the heart of your people, there's no way they can catch up with your drive. They don't even get your vibes at all. So, and like I said, when I was starting the response to this question, accepting and recognizing that you can be inadequate too as a leader is one of the key and most important things you can do for yourself in leadership. Let me give you an example. When I was elected the president of my Lagos Business School class, I held a meeting immediately after the class and I started talking to people somehow. One lady who was elected my treasurer just called me and he said the way you spoke to people was no good. She said, you cannot force these people to do what you like. And that touched my heart. It was very painful for me. I didn't like it at all. But I knew that she was talking to me from a heart, from a place of genuineness. They call her Funky Elijah. She's always dressed in a peculiar way. I said, there's nothing that this lady wants from me, rather than for me to be better. So I stood back and I started addressing everybody that I thought I had hurt while I was making my first presentation to the class. I went to meet them and I started rebuilding. So over time, it took time, took them a couple of weeks, but over time, they now rebuild their confidence in me. And I had learned that pain point. And I got a feedback. I accepted the feedback. I thanked the person that provided the feedback, integrated it into my behavior, and then the team started dancing behind me. So look very much into your communication, reevaluate your engagement, be sure that the people are motivated, then you can be sure that people will better carried along. Somebody also asked a question. I think my question is tailored towards the change implementation. I currently reside in Abuja. How do I participate actively from my location, sir? I don't know. I can't understand what you mean by participate actively. Do you mean participate in error? If it is participating in error, then Joshua will have to take take up the engagement of this attendee. Thank you very much for asking that question.
Thank you, sir. I think Mr. Ojima S. Sunday should just private chat any of the admin on the WhatsApp community. And by tomorrow, we are going to talk more about people that are in different states, how you can be a change maker and engage in one of the things with error, even in your state. So it's everything is decentralized. So tomorrow we are going to talk more about that, but you can still chat any of the admin. Thank you so much, Mr. Monday.